Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2008 General Manager mode. My name is BrendenPlayz. Very close to WrestleMania. Only a few weeks to go now. Only a couple more episodes to go of the series as we get ready to wind things down. And this is what we have in store for you guys at the moment. So these are our rivalries. We have a lot of rivalries set in stone. So this is why our ratings are picking up recently. And we've still got a few more shows to go. Still got a little bit of ground to cover. As you can see, we've got a little bit more to do before we overtake Raw. Very close, though. We are in the hunt. I'm very optimistic, but if we have one more good show tonight, we could be on even playing field with Raw. So hopefully Raw does have a pretty bad week. Crossing our fingers, hopefully that does happen. This is what we have for you guys this week, though. We have a Cruiserweight Championship match. It'll be a steel cage matches. Jeff Hardy takes on Ric Flair one-on-one. Sabu will take on JTG, and their respective partners will be in their corners. Batista and Kane will team up to take on King Booker and MVP. Just switching it up a little bit, changing some partners. Fatal 4-way match. Triple H and Edge will take on Randy Orton and HBK. It's not a tag match, it's a Fatal 4 match. So they're all taking each other on, sorry. Undertaker will take on Brendan in a hardcore match to finish off the show. So we'll go ahead and watch Jeff Hardy and Ric Flair go at it. So yeah, so that's the card for this week's show. As you know, getting very close to WrestleMania, and the fact that WrestleMania we have 3 matches on the show. So you know, obviously we have our main world title match, we have the Battle Royal match and the Triple Threat match. So we don't have the luxury of having 3 or 4 matches on the show that we can use to, I guess, finish off our rivalry. So the thing is, what we have to do to counteract that is that we have to have these matches on the SmackDown. So I guess what you saw there with Brendan and The Undertaker, the reason why that one main evented, I guess, in a hardcore match, I kind of wanted to put that one not to bed yet, because obviously it's not quite WrestleMania, but almost, tie up some loose ends there, and that's what I'm going to be trying to do with the rest of the feuds as well. Jeff Hardy, geez, he tried to fly across the whole ring there. He almost got there. So Flair and Hardy going at it. Steel cage match here. Cruiserweight Championship on the line. So this is another way to try and keep the ratings pumping. Last week we had a tag team matchup for the tag team titles. This week the Cruiserweight title. Maybe we'll do the US title next week as well. And then of course the world title will be defended at WrestleMania. So I guess we're kind of just alternating right now and seeing what we can do to try and boost up the ratings. Obviously title matches and stipulation matches are the best way to do that. And we've already got some good rivalries set in stone like I've talked about. So we can keep the ratings going, try and use a few different things in our toolbox to try and keep the ratings in our favor. That's the way to go. But I also don't want to overboard it. I know I had a couple stipulation matches tonight, but I want to kind of stick true to what I've been doing the whole series, and that's, just working towards it, working towards these matches, not just having a steel cage match every single match on the show every single week, trying to actually have a reason for these matches and actually trying to, use these matches for a purpose. I've kind of exploited this a little bit though. Like I have, to be honest, I haven't really been going back to that formula all too much recently. Obviously, I want to try and get the ratings and trying to win overall, because now I actually have a realistic chance perhaps beating Raw, as Jeff Hardy's submission hold applied here on Flair in the ring. Not going to happen though, I don't think, but he's still got it locked in. But Flair, here we go, he's going to break out of it now. The veteran, he knows how to get out of every hole there is. And I'm sure he's been in every hole there is as well, Ric Flair. So, look, we have a realistic chance of perhaps coming away with a victory here, so we need to make sure that we keep it going and we don't kind of, slack off and have a couple of bad weeks, because a couple of bad weeks is going to cost us. So we have to make sure that our matches that we put in every single week are, in fact, good ones. And I know probably the JTG and Sabu match is probably going to let us down a little bit, but then again, I have bumped up their popularity. Their popularity now is in the 90s, so that won't be too bad. We've also, got the Kane and MVP thing going on as well. We try to put them with, Booker and Batista to try and, make up for their perhaps lack of popularity. So there's a few things we can do, and a few guys we can match up with some other guys to try and even the show out overall. And look, we've already got 2 thumbed-up rated rivalries. We've got a lot of them going at the moment, so only 3 or 4 or 5, I don't know what the number was, but we've got a fair few going at the moment, so that really does help in our favor. So no matter what match it is, it's probably already going to get a 4-star rated match because of the popularity and, how long the rivalry's been going for. So things are looking pretty good in that retrospect already, so we just have to keep it going. And, like I said earlier, I hope that Raw has a pretty bad week. And ECW, I don't think they're going to be really an issue for us. I mean, if they have a big 4.5-star rated show, that's obviously going to impact us a little bit. But, you know, I think we might be able to keep that second place spot as a nice neck breaker there by Jeff Hardy on Ric Flair. And he's not going to try and escape. He's maybe might to try and finish Flair off for good. Drop kick, down goes Flair. With Flair back to his feet. So I don't think ECW is really going to be a problem for us. I think we might have finally moved on from ECW. I mean, oh, pile driver. Jeez, you don't see that anymore. And ECW, unless they have a couple of amazing shows, I really think we might at least get second place at the worst. And to be honest, I'd be pretty happy with that. I mean, considering where we were, I mean, geez, for 50 episodes we were in last place, and finally come back and hit second place is pretty relieving, and it's nice to know. But look, you can still almost get number one spot. Raw is still within our reach as Flair, dirtiest player in the game, just pushes the ref out of the way. I don't know why you would bother Flair. It's a steel cage match. You know, there is no rules. All you need to do is escape the cage, and the referee's down and you're outside the cage, and then you got a problem. So keep the ref up. But I guess Flair maybe sensed the fact that Jeff Hardy was starting to get the better of him, and decided he'll get the referee down to make sure that a count cannot occur. Flair perhaps going for that pile driver again, but Hardy able to make sure that doesn't happen. Oh, and there's a low blow, and the no DQ stipulation right there, ladies and gentlemen. Flair hitting the low blow does not matter. There's no rules in this one, and just like that, Flair getting the advantage. He can use all these tricks that he has, you know, thump of the eye, the low blows, you know, throw Hardy into the cage, do whatever the hell he wants to Jeff Hardy in this steel cage match. Because the only way to win is by pinfall, submission, or escape the cage. So Jeff Hardy, follows up the knee drop. So the Cruiserweight title, I mean, I guess you look back at the history of the Cruiserweight title, you know, I guess we're probably starting to reminisce on the series a little bit here, because we are winding down, we're almost at the end. You know, we've had quite a number of Cruiserweight champions. I guess probably Rey Mysterio was the best one. I mean, he held it for a long time, you know, he held it for many, many times, and, you know, he defended it a lot as well, and he had a couple of reigns. We had Johnny Nitro held it for quite some time, and it's been Jeff Hardy in recent times holding it. So we haven't had that many Cruiserweight champions. We've had a lot of long title reigns with the Cruiserweight Championship, but it's definitely delivered in a lot of great matches I've seen in GM mode. And certainly I don't regret choosing SmackDown, because I always figured that SmackDown, you can work a lot more with the Cruiserweights than the women. And, like, you know, you got Jeff Hardy, you know, if you want to push him up to the, you know, to the main event, you can put CM Punk or Ric Flair back in there as well. You know, you don't have to, in Rey Mysterio as well, you don't have to be limited to, okay, the divas, they can only do this. So that's probably the best reason to choose SmackDown over Raw. And of course ECW, I don't know why anybody in their right mind, oh jeez, okay, nice suplex. Now Hardy trying to escape the cage. We'll go back to that ECW thought in a moment. Jeff Hardy getting very, very close to escaping the cage, though. Ric Flair's going to try and get there. I don't know who's going to get there first. I think Hardy might get there. Flair struggling a little bit after taking that suplex. Hardy crawling. This is the slowest crawl I've ever seen in my life. And Flair gets a hold of his foot. And Jeff Hardy is not escaping the cage just quite yet. But I was just going to say that I don't know why anybody in their right mind would ever play as ECW. I don't think I've ever really played a serious... Maybe, okay, I've done it once. One serious playthrough as ECW. Because I figured, well, you only got one title. That's going to be a challenge. And it is a challenge because you don't have the ability to kind of, I don't know, push guys and mid-card guys. You've got no tag teams. I mean, if you have tag teams, they have no purpose. There's no title to fight for. So 3 extra titles certainly helps in terms of ratings, in terms of show quality, in just terms of entertainment, you know, like just only having the one title match on every single show, or every pay-per-view I should say, is lame, you know. So I don't know why they only had the one ECW title. I guess there was really only one ECW title at the time. And I don't know if they didn't bring in ECW Tag Team Champions, did they? I don't think so, or anything like that. So I guess that's the reason why they did that. But geez, didn't it make it hard for GM mode fans to really have success with ECW? I think they should have tried to find some other way to kind of compensate that. I don't know how they would have done it though, but geez, ECW really got the short straw, didn't they? You know, the short end of the stick. So I guess, you know, looking back, you know, the ECW experiment in GM mode, I think probably was what nearly killed GM mode, I suppose. You know, you look at GM mode 08, you compare it to 07, 06, and just a lack of roster space, isn't it? Just that's really the problem between the two games, and I guess that's the reason why, if I had to pick one, I would probably say 06 or 07. I probably would say 07 is the best overall, but I think maybe the roster on 06 is probably better from memory. I don't know, but maybe 07, I don't know. But there's a nice suplex by Flair and Hardy. So I suppose, like, the challenge that oh wait, just brings, you know, you get what, 10, 12, 15 guys at best on your roster. That makes it hard. You know, if you have an injury, somebody goes down, it's so difficult to overcome from that. And plus, you can't have that many guys, you know, in contention. Like, you have a couple of guys, you know, fighting for the title, and I guess you don't have anyone on the sidelines not really doing much. Like, you know, you'll have a couple of main event guys, and you have a couple of mid-card guys, and you have a few tag team guys, and that's your whole roster done, you know. So, whereas you have on the previous games, you know, you can have your distinct, these are my 6 top guys. These are the 6 guys I want in my mid-card. These are the 4, 5, 6 guys that I'm building up to be the future of the show. You know, they're lacking popularity, but, you know, they haven't had many wins. Ooh, the referee going straight into Hardy. This could be a good chance for Flair to escape. Instead, he takes off the turnbuckle pad in the corner, and Hardy, a nice arm drag to follow. So, you know, and of course, to follow that up, you know, you have a couple of tag teams as well, and that was your roster, but you had a lot of room to try and work with it. And but unlike, you know, this game where you only had a few numbers, so that was probably the one biggest flaw that I found in this game. Hardy almost escaping. Don't get too excited. Flair's going to get there and take him down again. Down goes Hardy. And uh-oh, figure 4 leg lock is going to be applied, is it? Here we go. Ric Flair trying to make Hardy tap, perhaps. Flair's fired up. He's got it locked in. Here we go. It is Hardy. Oh, straight away counters it and has taken out the, you know, disabled the lock. You know, that's it. Flair hitting his biggest move, and Hardy just got out of it like it was nothing. And now he's going off the top rope. What's he going to try and hit here? Here we go. Flair got to fly. Double, hit both of his feet into the chest of Hardy. And he's going to go after it again. He's going to go for the figure 4 again. And here we go. Hardy could be in some trouble again. Might be trying to work down those legs, even if he doesn't get the submission. Here we go. Is Hardy going to get out of it straight away this time? He does again. Oh, wow. Unbelievable. Are you kidding me? Hardy just treating Ric Flair's figure 4 like it's nothing. Jeez, that's rough from Flair. So I guess just to finish up where I was talking about what I was going on about, I just think that the problem with this, you know, not having the ability to really work with your roster and kind of build up your roster for the future, I guess the only way to kind of combat the fact that you have the small roster space is to continuously doing trades, because otherwise you're going to have the same guys all the time, because your roster's that small. You're never going to be able to build up somebody new to challenge for your next title. You know, you have to trade the guys that you've already used enough out and bring some new guys in. I guess that's what you've probably seen from me. A lot of the time they kind of left on their own accord and we had to bring in some new guys. But I guess that's probably one of the things that I try to do in this series, is once I kind of finished up with some guys, whether I screwed up their contracts or whether they, you know, were just done in my eyes, I tried to bring in some new guys to freshen things up. You know, so we brought Triple H, we brought Edge, Shawn Michaels along the way. So that was kind of like my way of, you know, combating the roster space, whereas the old games, you know, you just have those 6, 7 guys who aren't in the title mix at all and are just kind of doing nothing. Hell, they might not even be on the card, but when you want to use them, you can start to build them up into something and, you know, perhaps give them that push, that mighty push. As Flair going to go for the figure 4 for the 3rd time. And he hasn't even had a chance to really do any damage with it at all. Hardy's just been getting out of it straight away. He's going to do it again. Jeff Hardy straight away out of the figure 4, just like that. Flair, what can he do now? What can Flair do to try and beat Hardy? Hardy's just doing everything he can to survive, and he's struggling a little bit, but Flair not really able to capitalize. Hardy now, Hurricane Runner, follows it up with some strikes, and then probably about 10 shots right to the skull of Ric Flair, which I'm surprised he's not bleeding yet. But Flair in a bit of trouble. His figure 4 is doing nothing at the moment. Oh, here we go again. There's more strikes. Now the blood might come. And it's not going to happen just quite yet, but Hardy in control of this match. Flair in some trouble. And wait a minute. Oh! Stomping away on those legs of Ric Flair, perhaps trying to keep him grounded while Hardy maybe tries to escape this cage. Here we go. He's going to try and climb up now. Ric Flair still on the ground. Hardy getting close. Couple more steps and he'll be there. Can Hardy get there? Flair nowhere to be found. Flair, he's not going to get up. It's too late even if he does. Jeff Hardy retains the Cruiserweight Championship just like that. Big win for Hardy, and that might be the last time he has to defend the Cruiserweight Championship before it's all said and done. Jeff Hardy, big victory for our Cruiserweight Champion, retaining the Cruiserweight Championship in a side, still cage. I guess that was a really dominant performance. Ric Flair, his figure 4 was absolutely useless 3 times in a row, and I guess that's the reason why Hardy's still able to walk, climb the cage, and get out pretty easily, because he never really allowed Flair to lock it in. Always escaped out of it very quickly. Well done, Jeff Hardy. Another title defense to his name as we get ready to check out the rest of the results for this week's show. As JTG knocks off Sabu in singles action. King Booker and MVP defeat Batista and Kane in tag team action. Fatal 4-way match, Shawn Michaels, he pins Randy Orton to win the Fatal 4-way. And The Undertaker defeats Brendan 1-on-1 in a hardcore match. Let's check out the rest of the show, see how Raw and ECW did. 4.5 stars. Ooh, that's going to be tough. I don't know if we can beat that. ECW 3.5 stars. Surely we can do better than that. Surely. Here we go. Ooh, okay. 4.5 star for the first match. Ric Flair. 4 star for the singles match. 4 star for the tag team match. 4.5 star for the Fatal 4-way, and 5 star for the hardcore singles match. 4.5 star show overall. We are still in the hunt, baby. 2 more Smackdowns to go. Alrighty, I saw 4.5 star and I was like, no, we're done, we're finished. But ECW is certainly finished. We're getting, I don't know if we gained ground on Raw or what, but we're close. But Raw just might be still edging us out, I don't know. That's our rivalries. Things are looking really good for us. 5-star match on a Smackdown. That's really, really good. I wasn't expecting that out of that one, so that was a good decision. So there's our champions heading in towards the final weeks of GMO. That's what's going on our popularity level. That's where everybody's at. Everyone's at a pretty good level right now. Everything's really looking good, and that's going to do it for today's episode of GMO. If you guys did enjoy it, please do leave a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to see the final few episodes of GMO coming up real soon, and I'll see you all next episode. Thanks, guys.